A new witness, IDAC senior investigator Mantsha Raphesu, is expected to take the stand at the Madlanga Commission at the Brigitte Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria this morning. He's expected to shed further light on IDAC's investigations and decision-making processes leading to the arrest of senior crime intelligence officials. Commission Chairperson Justice Madlanga, the commissioners and the evidence leaders are expected to examine whether those investigations were fully conducted lawfully. At the center of the allegations is the claim that former IDAC head, Advocate Ayanda Johnson, led a unit that operated outside its legal mandate. SABC News anchor Ayanda Nyathi and senior reporter Canny Maphanga at Pretoria and join us live with the very latest. A very good morning to you, Ayanda. I most certainly can say, as a fan of the Madlanga Commission, we're constantly watching. I love this sequence that yesterday we had Drew Ramsamy, and then today her having spoken extensively about Mr. Raphesu. Then we get to hear from Mr. Raphesu even in between her testimony. Just help us locate who exactly Mr. Raphesu is insofar as what we've heard yesterday.
There certainly is a thread, Mfundo, isn't it? And in fact, we're coming towards the end of what's been another week of eyebrow-raising developments. We, in fact, started the week by hearing from Ayanda Johnson, who continued this theme of essentially distancing herself from those investigations. Ramsamy came yesterday and completely turned that on its head. And now, as you mentioned, we are anticipating to hear from Raphesu. Before we speak about Raphesu and the role that he allegedly played, perhaps let's just get our view up to speed with some of the salient points from yesterday's testimony. We'll kick things off with that starting allegation made by Ms. Ramsamy, where she essentially said that there was an orchestrated attack led in the main by Advocate Ayanda Johnson and Dylan Perumal to try target certain people using the powerful tools of IDAC. Take a listen.
Advocate Johnson and Mr. Perumal launched an orchestrated attack on General Masiamula and General Kumalo using IDAC's powerful investigation tools. And this will become evident in my statement and testimony.
All right, so let's get you a sense of what else we can anticipate from today. Canny Maphanga is our senior reporter here at the Brigitte Mabandla Justice College and a new witness as we stay with the IDAC stream. Canny, let's talk a bit more about Raphesu and where his name has featured.
Sure. Good morning to Ayanda and to the viewers at home. Well, essentially, we'll still continue with Ramsamy on Tuesday. That IDAC portion is not done yet, but Mr. Raphesu is the senior IDAC investigator that she often refers to in terms of the team that she was with, specifically on that trip to Cape Town on the 6th of January, when this alleged second statement was alleged to have been obtained by Dylan Perumal from Fadil Adams. And that's the one that both are challenging. So we expect in the main for Mr. Raphesu to corroborate the claim, or rather the testimony that Ramsamy gives, that this particular statement that Perumal claims to have commissioned on the 6th of January could not have happened that day because at all times they were together. And I think she says even though she took an hour-and-a-half nap at the hotel, it still wouldn't have been possible for him to have gotten that statement, which is why there's so many discrepancies in the commissioning of that particular second statement. Also, in terms of the correspondence that Ramsamy was heavily armed with in terms of showing how the unlawful conduct continued, there is a clear approach that she took that you'll also see with Mr. Raphesu, where they give information or they do the task, they list it clearly in the correspondence that it's as per your instruction. And that was a good record keeping in order to illustrate that at all times the person who was in charge of Project Diversion was allegedly Advocate Ayanda Johnson, which contradicts her testimony, which sought to portray herself as someone who was far removed from the investigations. Mr. Raphesu is also someone who would have flagged the concerns or the lack of evidence to proceed with an investigation or a prelim investigation as the IDAC stature creates in terms of how the Section 27 referral affidavit becomes the preliminary authorized investigation and then heads to court. And he'll also testify to that same degree that they actually didn't have enough information to pull this off. Will he hold the same view that this was all allegedly a witch hunt to target certain cops? We'll see when he gives his testimony. But I think that's what it's leaning towards, because he is in the correspondence holding the same views as Ramsamy, that they actually can't proceed with this matter. And she even advised in her recommendation that this matter is not ready for authorization and they can't proceed based on these scant facts that have been put by Fadio Adams. But it seems that there was a determination to ensure that these matters head forward. And it's about understanding the alleged sinister motive behind this and these key role players who seem to be more willing to speak now since Advocate Johnson vacated office. And now we see that several others have been suspended, including Mr. Paramore himself. It seems that it's a safer space for these witnesses to really take us into confidence as to what went wrong at IDAC.
Yeah, and speaking about what went wrong at IDAC, Canny, I just want to take our viewer back to another aspect of the testimony from yesterday, as we also take in the visuals of Mr. Raphesu, it seems, having had stepped into the auditorium. We do expect his testimony to run quite parallel with that of Ramsamy, because part of what we also learned from Ramsamy yesterday is that there was some kind of effort to manipulate the work at IDAC, if you like, subverting the powers of those who are in charge. Take a listen.
IDAC operates on the principle of prosecution-led investigations, which means that every matter is led by a senior prosecutor at the level of Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, a DDPP, working within a multidisciplinary team of prosecutors, criminal investigators, financial investigators, and data analysts. May I just, on a side note, prosecution-led investigations, if correctly done, is a brilliant method. But as it stands, it is left open to manipulation of targets. It is so easy at this point of where we are as IDAC to manipulate the statements, who the suspects are, how the investigation is to proceed, who witnesses will be, what these witnesses will say, how they will say it, what evidence is included, what evidence is not included. And it has, as I will later show, been manipulated by and used by Advocate Johnson and Mr. Paramore.
Stand by. All right, and we'll obviously have to wait and see to what extent Mantsha Raphesu agrees, Canny, with this idea that there was a subversion of these powers and a deviation from the standard operating procedures within IDAC.
Absolutely, and it's really about understanding how this particular alleged cohort, let's put it that way, went above and beyond its mandate. And as I state all the time, it's not really the issue with the structure itself. I think IDAC's prescripts are quite clear about what they can and can't do. There was clearly here an alleged subversion of those prescripts in order to serve particular interests. And it is through these witnesses where you'll understand how they subverted the laws or the prescripts of IDAC in terms of the amendments. And of course, then it'll lead us to the conclusion as to whether or not it can stand. Were they trying to allegedly target people using IDAC as a tool? That's the overall allegation that IDAC faces currently before the Madlanga Commission, and currently that's what it's leaning to. We'll have to find out if the witnesses actually confirm that particular narrative.
Canny Maphanga, our senior reporter here at the Brigitte Mabandla Justice College. Thanks very much indeed. You've just heard the announcement from Jeremy Michaels, and with that, the commissioners of the Madlanga Commission are now stepping in with the testimony of Mantsha Raphesu, set to begin just about now.